Project 2025. Most of us know what that is, or we've been reading a lot about it in the news. But what not many people realize is that Project 2025 was largely authored by a nonprofit organization. Not only a nonprofit organization, but a 501c3 public charity. My name is Laurie Styron. I am the CEO and Executive Director of CharityWatch, and I'm here today to talk to you about the charity author of Project 2025. So, the first thing that people are surprised by is they think that charities aren't allowed to get involved in politics, and that is partially true. So, 501c3 public charities and 501c4 social welfare organizations, neither of those types of organizations are allowed to endorse specific political candidates for public office. However, 501c4s, social welfare orgs, they are allowed to do quite a bit of lobbying. And 501c3 public charities are also allowed to get involved in a limited amount of lobbying and other types of political activities. Now, full on, endorsing candidates, that is within the realm of 527 political action committees. The other thing to understand about the charity that was the author of Project 2025, which I'll give you the name of in a minute, is that it and other charities like it, they often have a network of related organizations. And I just mentioned some of those types of organizations: public charities, social welfare orgs, political action committees. Often these larger organizations will have different legal entities organized that are related to each other, and they're organized under the tax codes in ways that allow the umbrella organization to conduct all these different types of activities through these different related organizations without running afoul of the law. In some cases, these organizations might share staff, offices, other resources. So there's quite a bit of politics in the nonprofit world that a lot of people aren't aware of. So that's the first thing to know. So the author of Project 2025, it is a charity. Its name is the Heritage Foundation. Please check out the link in the comments. We're going to link directly to the article that we wrote about the Heritage Foundation. So the Heritage Foundation is one of these organizations that does have a public charity entity, a 501c4 social welfare organization, as well as some other legal entities that we describe in our article. Now, Charity Watch, we can't get into the realm of making judgments about charities' programs. I realize that this particular issue is highly controversial, and I think most of us can agree on that, whether you're for or against elements of Project 2025. I think we can all agree that this is a pretty contentious issue. Charity Watch can't really get into the realm of making judgments about all charities' programs and their worthiness and whether or not they're good or bad. Obviously, everyone has their personal opinions about that, but we can't incorporate those kinds of subjective opinions into our rating process. What we can do is analyze the finances and tell you how charities spend their money. So the Heritage Foundation, I have to say, it's not a particularly inefficient organization. It doesn't meet our top rated status, but it spends about 70% of its cash expenses on its programs. Costs the charity about $29 to raise each $100 of cash support. It does have some fairly high salaries for its top 3 people. Those range for the top 3 people from between about $536,000 a year to just under $954,000 a year. And that's inclusive of salary plus other type of employment compensation, if any. We aggregate that information together. There's also some first-class travel that this charity engages in that they describe in their tax filing. And some related party transactions. So I can't get into all of that in this email. What I can say is that we do rate the Heritage Foundation. We also rate its 501c4 social welfare organization, Heritage Action for America. Now, this organization is not quite as efficient. It gets a C- rating on our A+ to F rating scale. It spends about 63% of its cash expenses on its programs. About 37% therefore is spent on overhead. And it's pretty expensive for this charity to raise money from the public. They spend about $53 for every $100 of cash support that they raise. So, I don't want to single out any, particularly, politically sort of related organization or organization that gets involved in some types of, political opinions or advocacy and that kind of thing, because these types of organizations, they range all along the political spectrum, right? The ACLU, for example, American Civil Liberties Union, has a public charity entity, a social welfare entity, multiple, and a 527 political action committee. So all along the political spectrum, you find these types of groups that function in these similar ways, where there's related organizations, sometimes sharing resources that do a lot of different things, according to what's allowed by the particular type of legal entity through which they're operating. And when they have all the different types kind of operating together, they can do a pretty wide range of things. So that's something that's good to know. Again, check out the link in the comments to our complete article on the Heritage Foundation and this topic. My name is Laurie Styron. I'm the CEO and Executive Director of CharityWatch, and I sure hope this was helpful. Thanks for listening, and happy Wise Giving, everyone.